But I'm Morse American, brother.
You who?
I'm a Morse American.
Oh,
I'll do your homework on Morse, brother.
moist. How we doing it today on this beautiful, beautiful Tuesday, right? Which is the Mars energy. That's what we're dealing with today. We got that Mars energy going on today. Islamic great rising to all. Love Ibn Allah Bey, Counselor General for Manawatu Atata and his Moors. You know, just want everybody to tap in, giving y'all some time, all right, to tap in. Because we're dealing with the civil order from Pope Francis to Barack Obama, President for the United States corporations. This applies to all presidents. It's a complimentary on the letter issued by Pope Francis. It's a civil order. It's a civil order. Great rising. Want to give y'all time, people time to tap in. All right. Let me do something here. All right. Invite friends, pop in. Great rising to all. All right. Let's get some electrifying energy going on right here. Tell a friend, tell a friend. Because this is a fall. It's a fall going on right now. And we all got to be conscious and ready, for what time it is. These things are already in place. These things has already been rectified, but the people are very, very, slow in, being aware of what time it is and what must be done. 1 minute. People got to wake up. All right. So I'm just kind of like waiting for 1 minute because I want people to tap in. All right. Yeah. Put my glasses back on here. Let me see what's going on. Shut it, man. That's all right. They'll get it later. For some reason. Shit. I'm having technical difficulties on my live. I think that's not by coincidence or chance. They see what the topic is. All right. Well. Yeah. So, what are we doing on this beautiful Tuesday? Tuesday represents the Mars energy. Right? Tuesday also deals with the science of one being able to enforce his actions. It deals with your actions, all right? So you got to know what the energies are commanded on certain days. Every day of the week is a different frequency and a different energy that's being manifested. So we have to be in tune and in harmony to what time it is and what must be done. Well, I have like 4 or 5 phones around me, so I'm gonna strive to, hold my head up at times. And well, when I get to reading anyway, it's gonna be a different setting. So just bear with me. I'm just waiting for people to tap in, you know. Just waiting. It's all great, you know. Great rising, great rising. I can't see the comments over there because my phone is kind of like hiding it on the A Swans broadcast. I can't reach it to, but I saw the wave. So if y'all put those up, I can see the waves on the right hand side, on my right hand, probably your left. Alright, so that's how these things function and operate. So, we here, constantly, staying studious in our studies so that we can continuously reach out to the people and keep them aware of the de facto things that's transpiring right up under our noses so that we won't be held captive, to fraudulent claims and false documents and false claims and filings, from de facto attorneys from different states or even in your state, because when you sign those contracts, you give up your rights. So man and woman must understand the contracts that you're entering into. Great rising. Tell a friend, tell a friend. That's right. This is Moorish transitioning. That's what we're doing. We are transitioning out of the darkness. That's right. Out of the servitude. Out of the miseducation. Out of the indoctrination, right, of one to be able to function in society. So that's government. So who's governing your mental capacity to function and operate in society? One must become the protectors of one's thoughts. All right? You don't look outside yourself because the law begins with you and you being in honor of your mother and your fathers. All right? So this is where we are right now. All right? To make these things clear and respectable. Because we all are the children of the sun. Great rising, Abdullah. I see you. All right. Yes. I can't. All right. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and get into my presentation here so that we can move forward because, I have a lot of things going on and I haven't eaten all day. So, the Unified is in the kitchen taking care of the salmon and the noodles and, she's doing a real thing in there. It's real special. So I told her I wanted to, send out some spiritual food for the peoples. All right, so let me get into this. We ain't going to be long-winded. This is a complimentary on the letter issued by Pope Francis, Civil Orders. All right? The original and de jure Constitution and government for the United States of America at North America, having a Republican form of government, set forth and established at Article 4, Section 4, stands as the supreme law of the land. That organic constitution was altered by acts of misprision and was secretly overthrown and converted into a foreign, private owned, and deemed for profit corporation in the year 1871. I want y'all to look at the Articles of Congress, the Acts of Congress of 1871. Right? So that misprison derived and foreign feudal law entity born of treason was styled as the United States Corporation Company, which is now commonly referred to as the U.S. democracy. That foreign and privately owned entity deceptively created acts of sedition and all its many states of entities or its other licensed and associated corporate franchises were and are ultimately and factually owned by the Vatican, being members of the Roman Curia. right? See, Pope Francis. All right, so I'm only giving y'all a synopsis of what I'm about to get into before I read it. So this is what I came up with, my determination. So pay attention. All right, so that was the Roman Curia. This politically and socially subdued truth and fact is actually the veiled foundation and source of the functioning jurisdictional powers that gave and still gives the Pope of Rome or the Vatican Bishopric the colorably valid and affirmable authority over that entity, the U.S. democracy, United States corporation, and also jurisdiction over those subordinate associate entities as expressed and executed via this impacting letter. This letter or edit titled Civil Orders was posted on August 19, 2015. But if this said posting is correct, the measured time reports that it was apparently sent to President Obama over a year ago, being July 4th of 2014. The Pope's letter not only confirms that the United States is operating under a corporation, but that the Pope's letter also confirms that General Carter Ham will be heading up the new republic when it is announced. The announcement will be part of what is known as the Masara announcements. This current Pope is working for the light. Anyway, don't waste your time on the political circuits concerning the U.S. election. I don't expect to see one. When Masara is announced, the new interim president becomes the president of the new republic for 6 months, after which free elections are held. We can then elect the interim president from another 4 years or elect someone else. The content of the letter below is pretty self-explanatory. You may want to check out the attachment. All right? So that's what I came up with, and this is the letter. Pope Francis sends Obama powerful letter via attorney on July 4, 2014. Civil orders issued to all members of the domestic police forces, the U.S. Marshal Services, the Provost Marshals, members of the American Bar Association, and the American Armed Forces. These organic American states of the Union known as the United States of America, major. Pay attention because it's a distinction when you're talking about major. Exercising preliminary civil powers upon the land, hereby appoint General Carter F. Ham to lead and command the Grand Army of the Republic and its successors under the guidance of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and with their full support. Should it become necessary to suppress commercial mercenary forces operating under the guise of being federal government agencies, including but not limited to the Department of Homeland Security, the Federal Emergency Management Administration, the Internal Revenue Services, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, etc. General Ham shall assume immediate command and control of all armed forces and services owned to the United States of America major, stationed in North America, and shall join them under his command as the Grand Army of the Republic. All forces of air, land, and sea are to be employed. Any cost or loss suffered as a result of deployment of the Grand Army of the Republic shall be charged as stipulated prior. All effort shall be made by the Grand Army of the Republic to spare life and property by undertaking any action whatsoever within the states of the Union without exception. The Grand Army of the Republic is uniquely enabled by these orders to operate on the land of the 50 organic states for the purposes of securing the lives and property of the American states and the American citizens. The Grand Army of the Republic is not a foreign army and is composed primarily of American state citizens. If required to take, all right, now, let me stop right there because it's talking about the Grand Army of the Republic, right? So when you talk, it's talking about the United States major and its contents, all right? So you also have a minor. If required to take field position, the local commanders shall make every effort to communicate the basics of their authority and the reasons for their presence on American state soil to ensure a prompt cessation of hostility and a widespread understanding of the usurpation and acts of fraud which have led to any conflict. All parties must be brought to understand the nature of the federal government, the limitations of its authority, and their own obligation to act in favor of the organic states of the Union. The Grand Army of the Republic shall continue to operate under General Orders 100, known as the Lieber Code, extinct from the pen of the last Republic President, Abraham Lincoln. That was the last Republic President. All of these other Republicans, they still up under that democracy. You see, they veiled over. We told you that in the synopsis up top. No orders, executive or otherwise, issued by Barack Obama pretending authority on the land of the American states while operating as President of the United States corporations, nor as the President of the United States of America minor. So, United States Corporation is United States, it's minor. It's not major. See, you have two United States. You have a United States Corporation, then you have the United States for America. All right? So they were pretending that they were, quote unquote, in control of the United States of America, even though they always say U.S.A. You see, that's what's holding them, because they were portraying, and that was a spell for the people to believe that they were true Americans, when it states that you can never be American for the corporation, because that's what it is. A corporation has nothing to do with the rights and the sovereignty and the freedom and the liberties of the people. Confused, wasn't it? All right? So no orders, executive or otherwise, issued by Barack H. Obama pretending authority on the land of the American states while operating as President of the United States Corporation, nor as the President of the United States of America minor, and on any performance by the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Ham, or any ordinary. All plainly stated grants of contractual authority evident in the Constitution for the United States of America remain in place, subject to good faith performance of the occupying obligations and treaties. Accompanying obligations and treaties. Mr. Barack Obama is the president of a governmental services corporation under contract to provide stipulated services to the organic states and is on their payroll. Whoa, let me read that again. Mr. Obama is the president of a governmental services corporation under contract to provide stipulated services to the organic states and is on their payroll. He otherwise acts as a foreign dignitary representing the United States of America minor. In neither of these capacities is he allowed any granted authority to impose upon American state citizens, endanger American state property, or command mercenary forces on American state soil. However, veiled as federal civilian services agencies. Y'all heard that? That's how they be coming. They be veiled. And they come with their color of law processes, and they come with their statutes, their codes, and their ordinances, because that's the mindset and the training of the people. So that's all human trafficking and it's miseducation and indoctrination. All right. So they're being tried for this. This is in 2014. Let's not forget that. And anything, once it becomes law, right, that's called res judicata. All right, res judicata means it has already been decided, right? So even though I'm reading this and it's from then, right, it's called non pro tonque. For now, for then. All right? So it doesn't matter. I'm reading it now. If you read this thing 2 years from now, it still sticks for then. All right? So that's the law. So we have to understand that, know what is law and what is not, so that we can continue to shovel ourselves from up under the avalanche of lies and direction for control purposes. Excuse me, my mouth is dry. I should have. I'll wait till she come in the room. Right? So, however, veiled as federal civilian services agencies, we require the Joint Chiefs of Staff and General Ham to commence measures to disarm federal civilian agencies, personnel, and to seize control of the vast stockpiles of arms which have been improperly amassed by the Department of Homeland Security, FEMA, and other agencies employed by the United States. You see that? Because that's their defense. You see? So in order to really put them under scrutiny, excuse me, and to be able to bring them into the venue properly so that they don't act belligerent, because, first you're a billionaire today and then tomorrow you broke. Like they trying to do the Puff right now. Same thing they trying to do to Puff Daddy. All right? This is what's happening to them. They're being raped all over the place. Because if they allowed him to do that, whoa, what are they doing? All right? And he's a billionaire. Remember, P. Diddy had the key to the city. He got that key to the city from them other people behind him. Remember, he's just a puppet on the string. All right? So this is what we're dealing with, the same kind of mindset on another level. Right? And it's been exposed. Right? So all powers, y'all heard it, all right? They're removing all of their ammunition. They're removing all of their military powers and forces. All that has been dissolved. They don't have those connections like that, even though, they still sneaky and might, how it go, all right? So the only federal agency allowed free egress on the land of the American state is the United States Marshal Services, and then only when their personnel are engaged in their duty to protect the United States mail and sworn to act as constitutional officers. All other federal agency personnel are limited to unarmed service until further notice. This is why we say we're the Postmaster General. All right? Because we are. All right? Once you become into your own mind state and start governing your own affairs, these different avenues open up. But you have to look within. You have to sit back and say, you know what? Let me ask myself, man. Let me speak to the God within myself, because, I see a lot of things going on, but give me some answers. Put some positive people around me that's going to help me unfold these things, But this is where we are in this dispensation of time. This is the Aquarian age, all right? And things is unveiled, not being. It's, every time you turn around, it's something. And the corporation is exposing itself from every angle. So what we're going to do, we're going to sit back and wait for General Ham and the army to come in. Y'all see them in the train stations. Y'all see them all over the place. Every time you turn around, you see military forces. Y'all see them in the hotels. What do you think they're here for? You think they're here for us? You think they're here protecting, migrants? I just read to you why they're here. The spell is being unbroken in front of your eyes. I told you I'm going to make you see the light, what's going on here. So you got to really, we, the people, are the people in the preamble of the United States Corporation. Right? They thought it was that. But it's we the people, for the United States, created these things, gave them limited authority. They violated the trust. And this is the consequences. So the first one, which is their father, is the Pope. Pope Francis did this in 2014. He's like, man, you know what, I'm tired of this. And it continues. We direct the Joint Chiefs of Staff to communicate these first two general civil orders directly to Mr. Obama, the members of the United States Congress, the administrators of all federal agencies, the members of the Supreme Court, and those acting as governors to compel their rapid understanding and cooperation. Any expense or damage incurred by these organic states or any American state citizens as a result of actions undertaken by any federal agency personnel acting as armed mercenaries on American state soil will be understood as the result of violent crimes committed against the peaceful inhabitants of the land, and will incur immediate judgment liquidating the assets of the International Monetary Fund and the Federal Reserves, and payment of the stipulated reparations. Such crimes shall also be considered contract default, increasing the public debt, subject to bounty. Y'all heard that? Subject to bounty. All right? So all of those, de facto, you could say your marriage licenses, your driver's licenses, right? Your business certificates, right? All of those, instruments, your insurance policies, the de facto trust accounts that you got hidden overseas somewhere. You heard what it said about the Federal Reserve notes in those accounts? The IMF, that's the International Monetary Fund. The IMF, all right? The United States Corporation had to transfer all of its rights in 1933 to the IMF. But they all, the criminals together, they all. So you can't look at one because they all family in some kind of way, cousins, brothers, sisters, right, uncle, aunt, some kind of way, because it's a bloodline thing going on. So we got to be mindful of these things that's going on. All right. Any and all corporate officers of the United States or any successor organization inheriting federal service contracts who support, condone, or promote such crimes against the American state or against American state citizens shall be subject to arrest and prosecution for commercial and violent crimes. All foreign officials operating as elected or appointed officials of the United States of America minor who supports, condone, or promotes such crimes against the American state or against American state citizens shall be subject to arrest, confiscation of their assets, and deportation to Puerto Rico, Guam, or such other states as may be willing to receive them. Islam. Great rising. All right? So this is where we are. So like I stated, you see what it states at? So if all of this is going to transpire, and then you look outside or you navigating, traveling somewhere, and you every time you turn around you see a military person here, you see, police here, right? Guess what? The police don't have no authority because their bonds has been liquidated. They have no authority. It's up to the people. This is why, I was looking on the site the other day, and it was, what was it again? I think the international parks or international, employment on all of these different, like the wildlife, the what was it on it? It was a few, I can't remember the entities that was on it. But all of those jobs must have been terminated for the people that was in it. So they're telling you that you can fill out the form, fill out the application. It doesn't matter if you're incompetent or not, that they will review it and get you up to speed so that you can fulfill the job that's required. They want to deal with the people. Now think about that, what I just stated. Now you got the migrants coming over here, right? And these are police jobs too. They were talking about police rangers, right? They're talking about all of these different things over there. So now, once the migrants, right, start taking the jobs, then we start looking at them like, yo, they giving them the jobs. No, y'all sitting on y'all butts. Y'all ain't looking, y'all ain't tapping into these things. You see, the migrants, and remember, the borders is open up for a reason. It's because the United States corporation has lost their control. You see, they lost their control. There's nothing there for them. So we got to know to what is going on right in front of our faces. So this letter from Pope Francis to Barack Obama is very relevant because it has already been in place. It's in place. So the people have to know what to do behind this, because it's a war going on. And it's stated that the peaceful inhabitants, that's us. The peaceful inhabitants are the people of the land. We are autochthonous from earth. So that's an inherent right. And the word inherit, when you break it down, says inherit age. Inheritance. Inherit age. So we're part of that. You know, we got the iron, metal, the gold, the silver, plutonium, right? We got all these things, the copper. All these things is in our DNA. All these things is in our earth, in the universe. So what? So it is above, so it is below. That's the relationship. All right? So let me get back to this letter. Whew. Such foreign officials include members of the American and British Bar Association who were licensed to act as privateers against the interests of the American states and the American states citizens from 1845 to 2013 in flagrant breach of trust. All such licenses are now extinguished. Members of the Bar Association are required to cease and desist assaults against the American states and against the American states and American state citizens, and shall be subject to arrest and confiscation and deportation otherwise. You see the power we have? Inasmuch as corporate officers operating the United States of America Incorporated and the United States have contrived under conditions of fraud and semantic deceit to revenue the estates of the American states and living American state citizens to the foreign jurisdiction of the United States of America minor. Y'all heard that transition? Did y'all hear that? That's what they did. You see? And he's exposing it. This is from the Pope, because he has been put under pressure to give the people back their resources. But the people have to be competent to receive the resources. They ain't going to give it to a bunch of ignorant people. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing right now, so that we can understand what's transpiring right under. This is a new era of time now. The old era is playing itself out. Y'all can stop looking in the funny mirror. It's over. We have to get focused and get ready to receive the judicial powers, the executive powers, the legislative powers, and the judicial powers. All right? So those are the three powers in that department. So that the people who is the Senate are the people of the earth. Right? Now, since the people are asleep, this is why you got the policy enforcers in your territories. There's no sheriffs. The sheriff's supposed to be the ones for the people, but instead we got policy enforcers. Y'all call them police officers. Misclassification. Stop doing that. Because when you call them officers, you're giving them authority. In order for you to be an officer, you must be an elected official. And you must be elected from amongst the people. not selected from the corporations. And then you claim an authority and the rights and the liberties of the people under that guise. That's misclassification. That's notwithstanding. That's void from its enactment. See? So that's what this just exposed. All right? So, no enforcement upon any American state or American state citizens is owed as a result of any act of any Congress operating as the sovereign government of the United States of America Minor, nor as the board of directors or board of trustees of any incorporated entity whatsoever. Islam. All those estates and estates is spelled properly, and then it's spelled in all caps. All right? Enormously, excuse me. All those estates and estates enormously believed to represent the American state and American state citizens, and which were conveyed by fraud and legal deceit to the United States of America Minor, and more recently to the city-state of the United Nations, and revenue without exception to the geographically defined American state and the American state citizens, where they shall remain in perpetuity as assets belonging to the rightful and lawful beneficiaries, the true heirs apparent. You see? So what this just stated right here, that all of the estate, meaning no more mortgages, no more deeds, no more rent. This is what that just said. Y'all don't want that? Y'all don't want to sit back and analyze and challenge those de facto contracts? Because it talks about contracts. Y'all don't want to challenge those contracts? Con means mine and tract means land. So long as I could con your mind, I got your property. I got your estate. I got your posterity, your children. Y'all call them family. We call them young heirs, who they are. When you're dealing in Moorish science, their heirs are parent. They got rights protected. They ain't dealing with no legalities and no misclassification or for control purposes. We got to be conscious and aware of what's going on. You know, we're the beneficiaries of this vast estate. All legal fiction entities, however, structured and named after the American states and American state citizens, are returned to them and their control, free and clear of any debt, promise, encumbrance, or obligation alleged against them as a result of false claims made in their behalf by officers of the United States of America, Inc., Incorporated. The United States and Inc., Incorporated, or by any foreign officials operating the United States of America Minor, or the United Nations, city, state, falsely claiming to represent them or have jurisdiction over them. Because the United Nations was doing it too. You know? They were taking those birth certificates. They were the one that was doing all the negotiation for the United States and with the United States, with China and other dignitaries, countries and allies. You know? United Nations is part of it. So you can't look at the rattle tail, just the tail alone. You got to know that that's one body. See, the tail will alert you from the bite, but it's still one body, you know? So you got to remember, it's those 6 nations, and maybe more now, that's dealing with this right here, all right? And it has been exposed, and the powers has been reverted back to the people. Are y'all ready to take your places amongst the affairs of men and women? We note that the current circumstances is in part the result of criminal acts engaged in 50 years ago, which resulted in the commercial enslavement of African Americans who were similarly claimed as chattel backing U.S. government debt in the wake of the Civil War. But y'all know African Americans, the misclassification. All right? But that's a good gesture for y'all that believe that y'all African Americans, believe that y'all are black. But when you come into the light, you will see that that's what made them do this, because of that misclassification. Because if you're not in honor of your own mothers and fathers, all right, which are the mothers and fathers of creation, you see, how are they going to protect you? You can't recognize the principles. You don't understand the covenant, the relationship. You see? So that's a disconnection. So that puts you and us in dishonor. That's what that's called. Dishonor. Because you're following gods of Rome, which you know nothing about. You see? And yourself is who you are. This is who you are. It's a distinction. All right? See, you have the higher self and the lower self. So we got to be mindful of what's going on. All right? Despite every act of abolition and declaration of prohibition against both peonage and slavery, it has been the policy of the United States government to enslave its citizens and to operate as a rogue state among the nations of the world. Hear that? Instead of freeing African Americans, the sum total result of the Civil War was to vastly expand public sector ownership of slaves, giving rise to the outrageous and improper claims that have been made against the American states and the American state citizens that we are dealing with today. It is uniquely fitting that the Grand Army of the Republic is recalled to settle this circumstance in favor of the people. Civil orders were given to Anna Maria Wellingham, Hannah Sophia Messenger Vaughn, the hidden Vatican Crown Empire. All right? So that was the civil order from Pope Francis to Barack Obama in 2014. I gave a little explanation as we went through the reading, just to give a little clarity of the application of this document, so that we just don't let these principles go over our head. That document, when he initiated it to the president of that corporation, it was for him. It told him that you were fired and that you are to transition all the powers back to the people. You see, that's what happened that year. So we have to be mindful, all right, to what's going on in our communities while we see all of these different changes going on. So with that being said, I don't want to be long-winded. I just wanted to put in, that spiritual food for today, and many more to come. So Empress, to my Empress, love you. Great rising to all. Great rising to all. You want to say something back?
I hope y'all have a good Tuesday. I'm cooking. He just came to drop it. So, hi y'all.
Peace and love. This is Moorish Transitioning. All right. Share this one, man. Like, share, like, share, like, share. Like, share, like, share, like, share. Moorish Transitioning.